Welcome to the Paris Air Show. Joining us now is Tom Enders, Chief Executive of EADS. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Enders. Let's start with the governance reform that's going through at EADS currently. The company's free float is increasing, but so is direct government ownership. Why do you think these important changes are good for the company?
The important thing we've done, even though we still have, say, residual government shareholding, we delinked government shareholding, which of course still has attached to it the economic rights, the normal economic rights, from influence in the governance and management of a company. That is no longer there, and that I think is the essential reform that we made.
Now, you attended the successful test flight last week of the A350 wide-body passenger jet by Airbus. How do you assess the planned entry into service date for this aircraft in the second half of 2014? And more generally, how do you assess the sales potential for the aircraft?
The aircraft had a very good first flight. Feedback from the test pilots is very good. It was a day of joy for the entire Airbus and EADS group, obviously. We don't have first flights every year or so. We had already before the first flight more than 600 firm orders. I'm quite sure John Lee and his crew are collecting a few additional 350 orders throughout the week here in Paris. So I think we're looking good, and with the decision which we've taken a year ago or so on the revamped 350-1000, we see Boeing reacting to that. I think we're also well positioned in this segment for many years to come.
Airbus is saying it wants to usurp Boeing in the wide-body twin-engine market, but is that realistic without an additional wide-body jet by Airbus?
It's not a question of how many planes you feature in a given segment. The question is how good your offers are, and fact is and will be that our offer, these are all new aircraft. We are confident that we will not be the underdog in that segment, but that we can indeed reach something like a leading position in the market.
You've said on more than one occasion that the European defence industry is too fragmented. Is EADS still interested in being a consolidator in this sector?
I certainly do not exclude that we could play a consolidator role in certain segment where we want to be a leading force.
But is a deal with BAE Systems now dead? You proposed a tie-up between EADS and BAE last year. It failed. Are you now saying this is off the agenda forever, or could it potentially be put back on the agenda?
To do such a deal, you need all stars aligned, and that was almost the case. I think that window has closed. I'm not speculating whether there will be another opportunity down the road, but I do think that for years to come, this is unrealistic. On the other hand, never say never. You know, I call myself a proud veteran of trying to do deals with BAE. First one dates back to 98, the last century. 14 years later, we had the second chance. So what do I know? But both companies have moved on.
Overall, it feels like your main focus is on improving EADS profitability. Are you confident that by 2015 EADS can hit its target of having a 10% operating profit margin?
Well, I'm confident, even though it's not a walk in the park, never is. I'm confident because, I mean, we have clear plans set up for each of the divisions to improve profitability in 13, 14 and 15. And I know it can be done.
And is the biggest swing factor in improving margins the performance of Airbus?
One essential element is that we have margin break-even in 2015 on the 380 program. There we had very significant burdens in the past years. The R&D effort on the 350 should come down, and yes, the margins of the other running programs that are in cruise mode are assumed to be good.
Mr. Enders, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Andrew.